Gazzy B, 1 win in 10, 25k downswing. It can't go on like this, can it?
It can.
Venetian, Las Vegas, 510 no limit, buying in for $1,500. First hand, we've got pocket aces in the big blind. Under the gun has raised it on up to $30. And my buddy Simon is in the small blind. He is going to put in the re-raise. He makes it $130 to go. I am salivating at the prospect of cold for betting with pocket aces. I make it $300 to go. Under the gun gets out the way. Action is back on Simon, and unfortunately, he's just gonna fold. Gotta snap a quick picture of my pocket aces. I've been running my no context pocket aces thread on Twitter all summer. Great fun at the start of the summer, but it feels a bit forced now. But still gotta see it through to the end. So there's a reggae looking fella in the game, really nice guy. He's gonna ask me one of the best questions anyone's asked me all summer.
So are you like a vlogger or are you just kind of like a guy? You know?
I'm both, mate. I'm a vlogger, but in my spare time, I'm a guy.
But like, there's just kind of guys who are just sort of personalities.
This dude is super lovely. I played with him a couple of times over the summer. Lots of fun. Very good player. Moving on now, I've got pocket 10s in the small blind. Straddle is on here, and the button is going to raise it on up to $50. I am putting in the re-raise from the small blind. I make it $220 to go. Action is back on my buddy Simon on the button, and he makes it $450 to go. Now, the effective stack here is $1,700, which is 85 big blinds with a straddle on. I'm happy to get it in with pocket 10s for 85 big, so I move all in. Not great when he snap calls. I ask him if he's got a pair. He's got pocket queens. Gonna need a lot of help here, but we are gonna run it twice. Absolutely no help on the first flop, but then a 10 on the turn. Why, oh why did I say that I was gonna run it twice? Can we suck out again? I'll make you guys a deal. If I somehow, some way win this second board, those of you who are watching and not yet subbed to the channel, you gotta pause the video and click the sub button. Do we have a deal? Let's go. Flop is ace, ace, nine, no help. Turn jack, river, king, sigh. I really wanted to suck out twice. Also, I gotta balance these sub requests from time to time so I don't spoil the vlogs. But guys, if you're not yet subbed, do me a favor, click the button. It just takes a couple of seconds. Chopping this one up, Simon takes it well. I'd be fuming if I were him. Just 2 minutes after this hand, something absolutely hilarious happens. You're going to hear someone talking in the background in the casino, but you've got to picture this person running through this massive poker room and saying what they're saying.
No! You have a flush.
This is absolutely amazing. Some dude has stormed away from his tournament table without realizing that he'd made a flush. It really tickled me and everyone else in the room. Next up, I've got King 8 offsuit in the small blind. I raise it on up to $60. Big blind gets out the way, and the straddle is going to make the call here. We go heads up to the flop. It comes down 6-5 deuce rainbow. Not a great flop for my hand or for my range, so I check it on over to my opponent. Kind of happy to see him just check it on back. Turn is the 7 of diamonds. I've got that up and down straight draw working for me. But again, I decide to check, and my opponent is now going to take a stab. He bets out for $100. I've got an open-ended straight draw. I'm not going anywhere. I go ahead and make the call. River's the jack of diamonds. Backdoor flush has just completed. I check again, and my opponent bets again, this time for $200. I think it over for a little while, and I decide to raise. I make it $800 to go. My 8 of diamonds, I block straights, I block flushes. I've got a lot of flushes in my line, so I think this is a pretty good bluff. My opponent is deep in the tank. He doesn't look happy about it at all. He takes about 45 seconds or so, and then lets it go. Really happy to get this one through. Like I said, I think the 8 of diamonds is a really nice card to have here. And I'm happily dragging in this pot after a very nice bluff. Next up, I've got 8-7 of hearts in the big blind. Middle position is raised it on up to $50. He's my buddy Max from Australia. Small blind is going to make the call, and I put in the squeeze from the big blind. You're supposed to 3-bet these suited connectors. Sometimes you're supposed to squeeze them sometimes. This is going to be one of those times. I make it $260 to go. Action is back on middle position, and he puts in the 4-bet. He makes it $580 to go. Now, we're about 2.7k effective to start the hand. That's 135 big blinds, and my hand performs okay in a 4-bet pot. So I decide to make the call here. Let's see if we can crack this guy's aces or ace king or whatever he's got. Flop comes down Jack 8-5 rainbow. Decent start. I've got second pair, backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw. So when my opponent bets out for $260, I'm not doing anything other than calling. Take a few seconds and then I make the call. Turn is an offsuit 4. I check it on over to my opponent. He thinks for a few seconds and then just checks it on back. River is a 3. Nothing changes on that river. And I'm thinking about whether or not we can get some super thin value. The problem is my opponent Max is very, very good. So if I want to get value with my hand, I'm going to have to bet really small. And Max is the kind of player that's going to shove over the top with hands like ace king and ace queen and king queen and stuff like that. So I decide not to allow him to do that. I check it on over to Max, and he is just going to check it on back. When he checks, I'm pretty sure I've got the best hand. And sure enough, my 8-7 suited is good. I asked him what he had later, and he says, Gaz, come on, what do you think? I had ace king. I was like, okay, Jesus, sorry. Remind me to never beat you in a pot again. Obviously, he takes it very well. And another nice pot coming my way. I'm up $1,500 for the session so far, and that could be getting even better when I look down at pocket kings under the gun. I raise it on up to $50, and the hijack re-raises. He makes it $150 to go. Action is back on me, and I am, of course, putting in the 4-bet here. I make it $480 to go. 2.5 raise, he makes it 7.5 big blinds. I make it 24 big blinds. We're like 3.2k effective to start the hand. So I think my sizing scheme is good here when I 4-bet. He is going to make the call, and we're going to see a flop with $1,000 in the middle. It's a pretty safe 9-8 deuce with 2 diamonds. There's $2,700 behind, and here's where I mess up a little. I'm going to bet out for $500, and I decided to do this so I could make it a 2-street hand. I've kind of misread my opponent's stack size, but if he calls, there's 2k in there, and I see now that he's going to have about 2.2k behind, and I can't shove on the turn for 2.2k. So I should be betting around $350 on the flop so I can make it a 3-street hand. If my opponent's got like 2k behind on the flop, then I like this size so we can bet the flop and shove the turn. But this is an error because I've misread my opponent's stack and I've got it slightly wrong. He takes a minute, he just lets it go. A little bit sloppy from me, but it's still a very nice pot coming my way. This is the last hand of this session, booking a nice win of around 2k. I'll be back in the Venetian for session 2 in about 20 seconds, so don't go anywhere. I just want to quickly apologize to my extended Italian family. I've ordered a carbonara. It's come with peas, and I've really, really enjoyed it. It needs some ketchup to make it autentico carbonara d'Italia. But still, it wasn't that bad. Anyway, just one day later, I am back in the Venetian playing 5-5, hoping to keep the momentum going from the last night. First hand of the session, I look down at 8-5 of hearts in the small blind. As you can see, I'm in the 5 seat, so I'm peeling my cards kind of secretively in the 5 seat, just so nobody can see. I've got 8-5 of hearts, early position is raised it on up to $20. There have been 2 calls, and I make the call out the small blind because it's 5-5, the price is the same. Big blind doesn't look like he's a big squeezer as well, so I think we're going to get to see a flop almost always. Big blind is going to make the call, and we see the flop come down 8-7-5 with 2 diamonds. Decent start here with top and bottom pair, but it's a very wet board. We check it on over to the original raiser. He bets out for $90. Button is going to make the call here. And you can definitely raise, but I decide to call because there's so many bad turns. You know, a 4, a 6, a 7, a 9, a diamond. Let's see if we can get a safe turn, and then we can consider raising. So I make the call, and we see an offsuit 3 roll off about as good as can be. And middle position bets again, this time for $175. The button is going to get out the way, and now's the time to build a pot. I put in the check raise to $525. This is too small. I meant to make it $625, but no harm done. My opponent's just going to get out the way. Should have made it a little bigger on the turn there, setting up for the river jam. He tells me that he had a strong 8, and I say, not as strong as my 8, pal. Nice start to the session, an early profit. Let's see if we can keep that going. Next up, I've got pocket deuces on the button. I raise it on up to $20. Small blind makes the call. Big blind makes the call. And we see the flop come down queen, jack, jack, rainbow. No deuce on board for me, but I do decide to see bet here. I bet out for $20. Small blind is going to make the call, and the big blind gets out the way. Turn is the 9 of hearts, and I decide to keep betting. I can make hands like 3s and 4s and 5s and 6s and 7s and so on fold. So I bet out for $75, and after a few seconds, my opponent makes the call. I'm done with the hand unless we get a bluffable river, and the 10 of hearts seems like a pretty good river to me to bluff. I'm going to continue barreling here. I bet out for $180. Action is back on my opponent. He takes a few seconds. And then he raises. He makes it $625 to go. I snap fold, and this young French kid says to me, I show you one time. He turns over his hand. He's got Queen 9 offsuit. One word, adorable. He asked me later what I had. I told him a king, and he looks very proud of himself. Back to even for the session, but hoping that'll change when I look down at pocket kings in the small blind. Cutoff is raised it on up to $20. Button makes the call. Both players are a little steamed up, and I put in the raise. I make it $100 to go. Big squeeze here with my pocket kings. Both players are going to make the call, and we see the flop come down. King 3 deuce with 2 clubs. Really good start here with top set. And I definitely want to see bet. Bet out for $80. Original raiser is going to get out of the way, but the button sticks around to make the call. Turn is the ace of hearts. Really nice turn because hands like ace queen and ace jack and ace 4 and ace 5 and nut flush draws have just picked up top pair. So I see no reason to slow down. I bet out for $310 on the turn. Setting up for the river jam. You can make an argument about the solver. Maybe he wants to bet small here, but up against a non-pro, a pretty tilted non-pro at that. I want to size up and get max value, so I bet out for $310, and he is going to make the call. River's an offsuit 5. Hands like ace 4 and pocket 4s, if he's got it, have just improved, but still, I've got a set. If he's got me beat, he's got me beat. I move all in for $800. I fade the snap call, and my opponent is deep in the tank, and I definitely want called now. He's really thinking over his options. I can see him looking at me a couple of times. I'm just staying still, trying not to give away any tells. After 1 minute, he's just gonna let it go. Still, it's a really nice pot coming my way. Really nice flop, really nice turn. Not able to get that third barrel paid off, but a really nice pot with the pocket kings. Let's see if these pocket aces can bring us even more money just a little while later. Early position is raised it on up to $15. There are 3 calls, and once again, I am squeezing. I make it $100 to go. Early position makes the call. He says he wants to make the vlog. Really, really nice guy. We're going to go heads up to the flop, and it comes down 4-3-3 with 2 diamonds. Gonna see bet here. I bet out for $110. My opponent is not super deep, so we don't have to go massive to get the money in by the river. He is gonna make the call, and we see an offsuit 6 roll off on the turn. Pretty connected turn. He's gonna have lots of draws and gut shots and flush draws and things like that. So I definitely want to keep betting here. I bet out for $225, setting up for the river jam, but he is just gonna let it go. He told me that he wanted to make the vlog. I think he made a very ambitious flop floats. Really nice guy from Orlando. He's going to rack up and head off to the win very soon after this. Having a really smooth night so far. I'm up $1,400. I just want to keep that going. 45 minutes later, I've got king 7 of clubs in middle position. I raise it on up to $20. My buddy JP from New Jersey is going to call in the hijack. And the small blind makes the call as well. We go 3 ways to the flop, and it comes down 9-7-3 with 2 clubs. Decent start. I've got second pair. Second nut flush draw. I decided to bet out for $40, and JP, the rascal that he is, he's going to make it $150 to go. Action is back on me. Easy call here. And we see an offsuit ace roll off on the turn. Not the immediate help that I was hoping for. I check it on over to my opponent, and he bets again, this time for $375. I'm obviously not folding. If I'm behind, I've got lots of equity. I can also beat bluffs, so very, very easy call here. Can we get there? Nope, it is another ace. Really thought club was rolling off there, but unfortunately it's an ace. I check it on over to my opponent. He actually shakes his head and checks back. Can he have jack 10 of clubs one time? Nope, he's got 9-7 of diamonds. JP, what are you shaking your head for? Not only have I lost bags and bags playing cards at the kitchen table this summer versus this guy, he's actually shaking his head when he's got the best hand and dragging in this really nice pot. Big sigh, a little frustrated, but I'm still up $800 for the session. On to our final hand, and it's a really interesting one. I've got ace king of diamonds on the button. Very secretive with the way I've peeled my cards here. But I do have ace king of diamonds. I'll show you at the end of the hand. Hijack is limped in, and I put in the raise. I make it $45 to go because the straddle is on, and the small blind pops it. He makes it $225 to go. Action folds round to me. I'm fake tanking for a little while, and I put in the re-raise. I make it $540 here to go with ace king of diamonds. Action is back on my opponent, and he 5 bets, but it's not an all-in 5 bet. He's tanked and then made it $1,100 to go. We're like 2.5k effective to start the hand. That's 250 big blinds with a straddle on, and this player plays really, really tight. I played with him a lot over the last couple of weeks, and I'm kind of terrified. If he just moved all in, I would have sighed and probably called it off, but 1.1k 5 bet non-all in, this looks unbelievably strong to me, so I'm going to do something that you guys might not like. I'm just going to let this one go. I didn't fly all this way to fold ace-king suited pre-flop, but the non-all-in 5 bet is terrifying, and we're not deep enough to call here, so I'm just going to let it go. Really nasty spot. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Is it too tight? Should we be just moving all in? Should we be calling? Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to grind it out for another 3 hours or so with absolutely no hands of note happening. I actually forgot to record myself walking to the cashier at the end of the second session, so here's the clip of me racking up and heading to the cashier from the previous night while I'll tell you guys about the results for these 2 sessions. I've actually had a really tough time at the cash tables overall this trip, but these 2 sessions weren't bad at all, winning $1,976 in the first sesh and a whopping $82 in the second sesh. A little bit upstuck tonight, but it happens. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.